Here is how to not be average. This is an average day with a not so average person. My whole life I've been bullied for not being average. I've been in trouble for not being average. Parents have loved me for not being average. Even as an adult today, I'm 27. I don't do average things. I was looking at statistics in the USA about what exactly is average, what defines average. First, I'll share with you my daily routine of an average day with a not so average person. I was never average, why start now? Then I will divulge some American statistics that are average that I want you to combat to be more than average. This does not apply to everyone because the average of people appreciate an average life. Give this a like to help people live a higher quality life. It's totally free to smash the like button and to subscribe and click the bell. People have always looked at me differently, knowing that I was different. So they treated me differently. That's not a bad thing. If you want to stand out in the best way. So number one, get up with the sunrise or while it's still dark. You still have time to yourself. I woke up at 4 yesterday in the morning, and when I wake up too early, I embrace it. And this morning I woke up around 8, which is really late for me. I'll get into that some more. Next is to serve everyone around you before you serve yourself. Why is it so important to wake up early? It's because you get time in for yourself that you can't give to everyone else. This means that if you have a family, if you live with a bunch of loved ones, if your kids wake you up, try to get up before your kids and be prepared to serve them and be prepared to get your life together before you can help others, because that's the only way that you can help others is when you have your world together. Next is to serve everyone around you before you serve yourself. If I wake up and I have that time, that little stretch where I have it to myself, then I can make extra time for other people. And I like to give every ounce of my extra time to serve my family and all my loved ones. Say in the morning, I like to get up when it's dark, because I know people will be asleep for probably 4 more hours or even more sometimes, because everyone in my life is most likely a business owner or someone who has a different type of schedule. So, or working at a hospital, your hours are not necessarily going to be the same as everyone else's. Serve everyone around you before you serve yourself, and this makes everybody else's life easier, and you are going to be the heart and soul, the glue, that the joy that everybody wants to have around. And it's not necessarily that you're doing this intentionally because you want to be the one that people need to rely on. You want to make everyone else's life easier so that your life is easier. So serving everyone around me has really helped, even if it's simple as making them a coffee in the morning, getting their work bag, or making their lunch for the day. For me, sometimes it can just mean organizing the kitchen neatly because everything is so difficult to find. I have a family member who's ADHD. I have a handful of loved ones who are diagnosed with ADHD, and being organized is very difficult. For those of you who know, hit me in the comments below because I know what you feel. And a lot of time people think that being ADHD is something that, something distracts their attention and that's all it is, that it's dopamine searching. It's much more than that. Living a lifestyle that helps other people thrive makes your household a very warm and loving place because everybody's welcome here, and it's all because of you, all because of these little things every day. So next is to exercise and relax simultaneously. Catch up with everyone, news and emails. So this is when I create my to-do lists. If you're wondering what do I mean by exercise and relax at the same time, I find exercise relaxing. I hate exercise so much. I hop on my treadmill literally until it hurts, sometimes until my feet bleed, and I breathe like a whale. But I do it nonetheless, set my emotions aside and do it anyway because I know I feel so good after I do it. This achievement feeling is the feeling that I want everyone to have. And you feel good, you look good, your hormones work properly, you get enough sleep at the end of the night because you're so tired and your body has purposely done what it's supposed to do. You also your metabolism is better, and I'm not talking about you're skinnier, but I'm talking about you burn food better, you moderate your temperature better. That's due to your metabolism. When you're out in the cold, you're less cold. That's all due to exercise and also sleep and eating properly. So exercise is conducive to a better quality of life in general. I personally like to do 45. I aim for 45. If I go over, that's great. I usually go a bit over an hour sometimes. On days where I really am crunched for time and have a lot of things to do, I'll exercise 30 minutes in the day and then 30 minutes again later. I hate exercise so much that I find a million reasons to distract myself. So what does this mean? I have playlists loaded, I have audiobooks loaded, I have YouTube videos where I learn something. I usually load a lot of lectures or listen to books that help me in whatever my goal is for that week or that month or that year, work toward my goals or catch up with emails. Next is to groom and dress up exceptionally. Body brush, face mask, lotion, hair, the works. Do not neglect your temple because your skin and body is what you want to live in. I like to call my face my moneymaker as a joke, but at the end of the day, that's the first thing people see. Well, actually, the first thing scientifically that was proven that people see is your hair. So if you take care of your hair, they will see how old you are. They'll see how well your nutrition is. They'll see if you have money, if you would like to get a nice blowout. They will see your aesthetic skills. They will see how symmetrical you are. There's so many things when it comes to health that show up simply from your physical features if you're getting enough sleep. So groom and dress up exceptionally. Do the best with what you have. If you don't want to buy like a Lancer method polish to exfoliate your skin and look glowy and bright, coffee with cleanser or just face soap, whatever type of face soap you have that's gentle. Gentlemen shave all the time. Women sometimes dermaplane. So do everything you can to not neglect your body. And sometimes I will just dry brush while I'm working because I want to be silky smooth and feel like I'm a cuddly cloud made of lotion. Also to dress well, because when you get up in the morning and if you say like you work from home, dressing up separates the times of day. So I have pajamas. I have really luxurious pajamas because I wear pajamas most of the time, literally 8 hours or a night. So that's a third of the day. So it's important for me to be in really good high quality workwear so that I know I'm going to work and it makes me sit up. I have a different posture, I have a different attitude. When going to church as a kid, we would wear our best clothes for church, our most modest clothes. And we acted differently when you act differently when you're wearing a suit versus when you're wearing basketball shorts. So you present yourself in a different way. And personally, I like to groom, I like to dress with tons of color. Or I'll show you here. Anything that's bright and colorful makes me feel good, and I think everybody should feel good. Grooming is the first thing people subconsciously notice and consciously notice. Next is to work as hard and as well as you can. I like to do the Jordan B. Peterson productivity method to commit to my fullest capacity. What exactly is that? So Jordan B. Peterson was talking about how to be the most productive you can be, and he shared his schedule of how productive he is. How he did that was he simply worked every single day doing the most work that he could for the longest possible amount of time. He would work until he would see his work dip into productivity. For example, his was about 5 hours of work he could get in a day. I very much love working, so I will work 9 hours a day minimum, and then it drops off after 7 hours though. So after 7 hours, my productivity plummets, and I notice I have to stare at the computer and squint twice as hard. I have to put twice as much effort into a very basic task. So then I see my productivity dip. So that means it's time to take a break. It's time to stop and do something else, or take a nap is what he likes to do. Then you have 2 parts of the day so that you can be even more productive, your brain has some rest, and you can work at your fullest capacity and commit to whatever you need to do. I personally am not a napper, so what I will do, I used to work sometimes 19-hour days, 16 to 19-hour days, where I would just be focusing on my business and chugging away at work, grinding, as they say. And for me, it's not a big deal, but for other people, being productive can be very difficult because they don't like to put in all their work. I hate quiet quitting. I think that's wrong. I think that's like on a moral level, I think that's wrong. I think you should do everything you can within your control and be the master of it. So be dangerous, as Jordan B. Peterson likes to say, but find a way to control it. Find that cap where you are as productive as possible. Take advantage of that. And be a force of nature when it comes to whatever work that is you have to do. Even if it's cleaning the counter. For me, I hate cleaning, but I'll do it. This is because I filmed a bunch of videos that if you have the control, if you have the time, effort, and energy while you can do those things, that is how you are efficient. Not just efficient, but that's how you are effective in your work, is when you do the best work. Anybody can do this, but it's just a matter of actually doing it, actually putting yourself in the mindset to do it. Just do it. Like, you don't have to think, it doesn't have to be perfect, just do it. So next is I try to do a 2-for-1. Go out in nature with my loved ones. So sometimes we'll cook together. So cooking is always a great excuse because it's something that you have to do. If you want to live a good life, you have to make sure that you have all the right ingredients and you spend time with each other, and sometimes even try new recipes. It makes it more exciting and you experiment together. It's always so much fun to cook. It's part of my culture to cook together. And then we also like to eat outside or take walks outside after dinner. So food loved ones, and nature. These are really important to me. This is a 2-for-1 when it comes to nature and loved ones. Here in Los Angeles, where I do have nature, and some nature is very underrated in Los Angeles. People think that it's just a city, it's metropolitan. We actually have tons of creeks, we have waterfalls, we have mountains, we have the beach, we have snow, we have farmland. It's so stunning here. We have desert, and I don't go out as much as I want to, so I do that with my loved ones, and I prioritize that time specifically with them. We don't have our phones, and I get insulted and disgusted when people take their phones out with me. I think that we should give people, no matter whom it is we are speaking with, to give people our full attention when we are with them. Human is attention, or attention is a human currency. Next is to prepare for tomorrow. I deliberately organize my apps on my computer, all the programs and software I need to use right in front of my face, so that I know that this is in my focal point of view. These need to get done first, no negotiations. I have a to-do list, so I don't have to think, what is it I have to do again? There's something else. You're just productive. You just see this list and you have a routine. You're thrown into all the things that you need to do. It's really easy. I even organize my outfit so I don't have to think about it. I have a valet I got from Amazon, and it is a life changer when you have your outfit ready out there hanging easy. You just put it on, so you don't have to think. You thought about it last night when you were getting organized, because when you have a to-do list, when you are prepared, you have time left over. And what do you do with that time? You prepare for the next day to make it even more effective, more efficient, to evaluate, what did I do yesterday that was not very good that I can make it better. Here are some average statistics here in the United States of America that I am trying to combat regularly because I don't like hearing this. Number one is only 22.9% of Americans get enough exercise. Really low. That is abysmal. Get exercise. It doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be crazy. You don't need a personal trainer. You literally don't have to have a gym. You can just go outside. You're like a car, you're like a machine, where if it's not running properly, it's not going to work. So make sure that you do all the things to maintain your body, maintain your health, maintain your mind, maintain your hormones. The reason why I'm saying exercise is because it's so fundamental. People may have the knowledge, but they don't actually use it. Even if you have all the knowledge in the world, you're not the smartest person if you don't use that knowledge. I know tons of people who complain to me every day or ask very basic questions. They say, how do you do this or how do you do that? The answer usually narrows down to exercise. Talking about this with a loved one whose health is declining, I said you need to exercise and you need to drink water. They went to the doctor and got 3 different opinions from 3 different doctors, took all this time out of their day, and each one said, you need to exercise. That's what it came down to, and it baffled me that I thought, you know what, you're not gonna listen to me because I'm young, I'm stupid, I don't know what I'm doing. What have I done with my life? Not very much. So anyway, the next average American statistic is the average American wakes up at 7:20 a.m. I was really happy to hear this because 7:20 is not super late, but it's not super early. It's like perfectly in the middle for me as someone. I used to wake up at 1 p.m. in the afternoon when I was a teenager. I love staying up all night, and I was definitely nocturnal, or thinking that I was nocturnal. I was probably more crepuscular than anything. I became a morning person and it changed my life. I loved sleeping late because nobody would bother me when I did work all throughout the night and then sleep throughout the day. But this really depressed me, and I did this a lot when I traveled, where I would sightsee at 2 a.m. But 1, everything was closed. 2, it was dark so I could barely see anything properly. 3, nobody was awake, and you need that sociability in your life where you greet people, you see other people. Humans are very ingrained to have connection. That's why they say it takes a village, because it's true. You really need to be around other people. It's even more important to wake up with the day, with the sun. I was in Africa for 6 months, been to over 15 countries in sub-Saharan Africa specifically. I'm not even mentioning North Africa. And in a lot of sub-Saharan Africa, they didn't have electricity, and so everything closed with the sunset. Like everything closed at 5 or 6, and depending on which part of sub-Saharan Africa you are, East, Midwest, it was very relaxing, and I could go to sleep very easily. And I don't know, it's just like a very different way of life. They do have electricity now, but they've just lived so long without it that everything closes at a certain time. All the animals also come out, so it's very dangerous. Wake up early, it'll change your life. Try it out. I know people don't wake up at like 3:30 a.m. like Jocko Willink and say and have this, you don't have to have this extreme routine, but wake up a little bit early. And I personally like to shock myself into waking up early. The trick is to wake up early every single day at that same time, so your body's used to it. Even if you didn't get enough sleep, still wake up at that same time, and that way I'm super exhausted so that I do get to sleep the next day. 6.8 hours is the average amount of sleep Americans get. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I personally like to have 7 hours minimum. Americans enjoy 37 minutes of quality time with family each day during the week. This is really sad to me. I remember years ago, I was dating this guy before I met my wonderful husband of many years now. I dated this guy who said, I see my mother all the time. I see her about once a week. We talk once a week, and he was only home for like once a month because he let her live with him and he had multiple homes. I was laughing because he said he saw his mom once a week. After that, I went to live in Denmark for a couple years, and a lot of my friends went to see their family every single day or tried to, and it's a legitimate excuse to get off work on the clock, on the dot, spend time with their family. It's a legitimate excuse at 4 o'clock to say, I need to pick up my kids. A common theme that I saw where I asked my friends, if you didn't have to work, what would you do? What would you like to change in your life? Most of them said, I would see my family more. And these people already saw their family like every other day of the week. People don't know what they have. They don't like nurturing relationships because to them it's work. To them it's too much to get off their chair. For them it's too much to drive 20 minutes to see these people. It's the most wonderful thing you can do. Next is average hours worked per week is 38.7 hours. Men work an average of 40.5 hours per week, while women work 36.6 hours per week. I thought this is great. I like the 40-hour work week. It's good that people have a purpose, people have something to do, people have something to focus on, and their life is in order. Next is the average American worker is productive for 60% or less each day. Yikes. This is probably true because a lot of people have a barrier of 5 hours of work that is really, really conducive to good quality production. The rest of the time, that's eaten up by dilly-dallying, by socializing, and I know in my husband's work, he worked in a lab before where people would literally shop on Amazon all day. And if you saw that video of Twitter where this girl walks into work like an hour later, she says, to unwind, I'm gonna go play some ping pong with my friends or something. And she literally just had like a meditation class or had one meeting that was about 15 minutes. Annual income for individuals in the USA is $31,133. The average household income in the USA is $70,784 as of 2021. I want to be able to send my kid to Mars if they ask me, hey mom, I want to do this science expedition and I need this much money to go. I want to be able to think, okay, how long is it? And get my wallet or my checkbook ready. Say something happens to us where I can't work anymore or my husband can't work anymore. What is the average cost of living in this part of the States? Each place was varied, and we found out that in most of the United States, it's $2 a gallon for gas, where here in Los Angeles, it's $7. Comrade Newsom is taxing the oil companies, and he's the #1 U-Haul salesman. So when it comes to cost of living, it's actually quite cheap, but I still want to be able to hand my grandkids something. They say that even if you do have wealth, say like if you're a billionaire, the generational wealth depletes after the 3rd generation. So I'm not here to make my kids spoiled, I'm here to give them options. If you want to be better than average, apply this knowledge. Knowledge is not power. That's totally misguided. You can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you do nothing with it, it means nothing. Subscribe and click the bell for posts on higher quality and an elegant life. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this helps, and I'll see you tomorrow.